Today we're going to look at the hot desert ecosystem. Now, hot deserts may seem lifeless at first glance, but they're actually full of unique and well-adapted life forms, stunning landscapes, and complex systems that keep everything in balance. Now, hot deserts cover about 20% of the Earth's surface. That's nearly a fifth of our planet. We can find the major hot deserts in like the Sahara Desert in North Africa, the Arabian Desert in the Middle East, the Thar Desert in India and Pakistan, the Sonoran and the Mojave Desert in North America, and also parts of Australia's Great Victoria Desert. Now, despite the intense heat, dryness, and unpredictable rainfall, life has found an incredible way to survive. Hot deserts have a low biodiversity, unlike the tropical rainforest. The only plants and animals with special adaptations can survive the extreme temperatures and the lack of water and poor soil. Typical desert plants include things like cacti and succulents, which are able to store water. There's also some shrubs which grow far apart to reduce competition between them. For animals, we can find reptiles like lizards and snakes, also small mammals like the kangaroo rat and the fennec fox, and the iconic creatures like the camel, which are perfectly suited for the desert life. Now, even in this harsh environment, nutrient cycling takes place, although it's much slower than other ecosystems. The first we have our biomass, and this refers to the living things like the desert plants and the animals. Now, when these plants or animals die, their remains become litter on the ground. Now, occasional precipitation like rain can wash some of this litter away as runoff. Some of this litter stays and slowly decompose, which is helped by bacteria, fungi, and the heat of the desert. This turns the litter into soil nutrients. These nutrients can then be taken up again by plants feeding the biomass and continuing the cycle. Now, because there's little water and plant matter, this cycle is slow and fragile, and desert soils tend to be nutrient poor. To be able to survive in this nutrient poor soil, desert plants have evolved remarkable features to survive. Firstly, they have a low growing structure, so many plants stay short to avoid wind damage and to reduce water loss. These plants can also have thick stems which store water for a long period of time, like for instance in cacti. They also have different types of root systems. They might have shallow, wide roots to absorb sudden rainfall quickly, or deep tap roots to reach underground water supplies. Some of these desert plants have spines instead of leaves. This firstly reduces the surface area, limiting water loss and protecting the plants from herbivores. All these adaptations help the desert plants to conserve water and survive high temperature. Now, animals also survive the desert extremes by adaptations. The first example that we're going to look at is camels. Now, camels store fat in their humps, which can then be converted to energy and water. They also have thick fur on top for sun protection and thin fur underneath for cooling. They have very long eyelashes and closing nostrils to protect them from desert and sand storms. They can go days without water and drink huge amounts when it's available. Then we can look at the fennec fox. Now, these tiny desert foxes have large ears that release heat and help them to stay cool. They are nocturnal, which means that they hunt at night when it's cooler. Their light-colored fur reflects sunlight and blends in with the sand so that predators can't see them. A lot of animals are also burrowing animals, for example, the desert tortoise. Now, these animals burrow underground during the day to escape the heat and to hide from predators. Now, the desert tortoise digs cool shelters and come out when it's cooler or after the rain to seek food. Many animals in the desert are also nocturnal animals, like for instance the kangaroo rat. They are active at night to avoid the daytime heat. They don't need to drink water. They get all they need from the seeds that they eat. They also produce very concentrated urine to conserve the water that's already inside of their bodies. Now we can have a look at the food web that is possible in a hot desert ecosystem. So just like the tropical rainforest ecosystem, the hot desert consists of our producers, then our primary consumers, our secondary consumers, and our tertiary consumers. Now, our producers consist of our desert plants, which are able to capture sunlight and then turn it into food like glucose. Our primary consumers are herbivores like insects, small lizards, and the kangaroo rat, which eats seeds. Then we have our secondary consumers, which are omnivores and carnivores, which is our scorpion and our large lizards and our snakes. And then we have our tertiary consumers, which includes our hawks and our fennec foxes. So as a food web, the desert plants would be eaten by insects, small lizards, and the kangaroo rat. Insects will be eaten by scorpions and the large lizards in the secondary consumer column. Small lizards would be eaten by large lizards, and the kangaroo rats will be eaten by snakes and hawks, as well as the fennec fox. Snakes are also eaten by hawks and the fennec fox. So if we have a look at this food web, we can see that at the top of the food web with no predators are the scorpions, the hawks, and the fennec foxes.